So yeah, what you'll be creating as part of the solution is coming up with an AI solution that solve the problem in society. And so we will, as part of the Microsoft Imagine Cup, they have some buckets of areas that they want you to think about. So for instance, the environment, health, and as part of our course, we'll give you lots of sort of prodding questions that will guide you around what kinds of problems you can look for or research. But it really is, the sky's the limit. It's up to your imagination. And what you'll then be doing is creating, it's essentially like a business plan. You can think about it like that, as if you are pitching this to a potential company that then will maybe be interested in taking this on as a real product. And what you are delivering is a 10 PowerPoint slide description of what is the problem that you're addressing, what is the solution, and how is your solution going to impact society, and then and your solution has to obviously take into account AI. So there's a slide or two on describing it in relation to how AI works and how Microsoft's APIs operate. So, for instance, if you're going to use voice recognition in it, but all of this, I mean, the details, we assume you have zero knowledge on AI when you come into this. So our course will walk you through what all of those things are. You're also going to get access to our WhatsApp support group, so that questions along the way as you're working on this, you can ask and bounce ideas off us and get input from us. And then there's a final piece in the slides that asks around how does this address ethics in AI, and how does it address cybersecurity sort of risks. But that's a smaller piece. If you look at how you get graded, and we'll share all of this information with you as part of the program. If you look at how you get graded, more of the grading sits with what is the problem, what is your concept, how does your concept solve the problem. That's where more of the weighting sits than AI ethics and cybersecurity, but you can get extra points if you get those. And what we're going to really be walking you through is, so the deadline to submit is the 10th of May. And we're going to have 3 sessions with you where you'll start our course. And as part of starting that course, you will have a task 1. And task 1 is going to essentially be create the first 5 slides. And we'll walk you through how to create those first 5 slides, what needs to go into them, etc. as part of the course. You will submit that to us, and we'll have a feedback webinar with you then to make sure that we can give you the best input and how can we make this better. What additional things can you do? Maybe this doesn't quite answer the question, maybe, so we'll give you all sorts of inputs there in that webinar to help you make your solution as basically kick-ass as possible. Then webinar 2 is the rest of the slides. So we break it up into 2. And then webinar 3 is about polishing up what you've got, as well as there's a video introduction that you guys have got to create. It's essentially Microsoft's way of making sure that you guys created it and you didn't get like ChatGPT to create it for you. So, that video is all around essentially you describing the slides that you've created, but doing it in a way that shows authenticity. So the course will be, to join, you've already joined. So, you asked between 13 and 18, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be joining as that team. You'll be signing up for our course. I think, I don't know if you guys have already signed up for the course. I don't think you have, from what I remember. So you'll just have to finish up that registration process. Did you receive all of that information, Amira?
We've only done the initial registration, we've only gave our names to the teacher, hasn't given us much information after that. So.
Did you not get an automated email from our system with the next steps sign up?
I think he just, I don't know if you put our emails through or anything, so I haven't gotten anything from your side, but I'll just double check.
Okay, would you mind dropping your email address in the chat, and I'll just make sure that that we send you that email so that you and your team can get the next steps.
Okay, should I get my school email or my personal email?
Doesn't matter, whichever one you. What grade are you, Amira?
I'm in grade 11.
Grade 11. Okay. Yeah, I mean, whichever email you check, that's the one we want. And you don't have to wait for the webinar to finish everything. I mean, if you wanted to, do the whole thing, and then, just the webinars are your chance for feedback on the specific, slides 1 to 5 and slides 5, 6 to 10, essentially.
Thank you so much.
Cool, Amira. Well, please do. Yeah, I will send you that email now because I'm sorry that you didn't get the information before, but very excited to have you guys join. Let's see if you guys are going to beat St. Andrews. Like we can't have Herschel and St. Andrews. You guys have. Let's see who's going to be the top 3.
I'm from St. Andrews.
St. Andrews. Okay, so are you? So which grade? So Simone is grade 8. Lily, what grade are you?
I'm grade 11.
Grade 11. Okay. And Gabriella, which grade are you?
Grade 9.
Grade 9. Fabulous. Are you guys joining as individuals or as a team?
Individuals?
Individuals. And you don't have a friend that you'd want to have join with you?
I will have to ask them.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be more fun and more, there's this thing called groupthink where your solution is better when you are able to like brainstorm it with someone. So you can actually have a team of up to 6 people. You can be an individual. So if you don't find a friend, it's fine. You don't have to have a friend. But I think it would make your solution stronger. And then you've also got other people, you can divide up the work, and it will end up being stronger. So, I mean, maybe let me just kickstart with what this thing is, and you guys are welcome to interrupt me along the way because, it's important that you get the answers that you're looking for. What this hackathon is we are essentially helping you prepare for the Microsoft Imagine Cup, which is a phenomenal global competition that happens every year. And actually, there's been very poor representation from South Africa so far. So we're hoping to increase the South African numbers a lot. And what you are essentially creating is you're coming up with a solution that is going to solve a problem in society, and there's a few buckets of what are the problems. So it could be something to do with earth, it could be something to do with health, and we'll share all of that information as part of the course that we give you when you sign up. And what you are essentially coming up with, what is that problem going to be? What is the solution? And as part of coming up with a solution, you also build you create a little, what we call in the technology world, a little prototype of, which is essentially like a description of what this thing is going to do. Ideally, it can just be a description, but ideally you actually draw it out using technology tools, digital tools, to be able to make it a little bit more real to the judges that are going to be looking at your solution. And then you tell us what the solution is going to be doing. What's its impact? Why is it solving the problem that you have highlighted and found? And then the final piece, so it's essentially 10 slides that your final presentation is a 10-slide presentation where you're talking about the problem, you're talking about how your solution helps solves that problem, you're describing your solution in quite as much depth as you can with showing your prototype, etc. And then you're talking about how your solution takes into account AI ethics and cybersecurity. But our course that we've developed to support you through this process, and also I'll walk you through our webinars that we'll be running, those are meant, we assume that you come into this thing with no knowledge of AI. And even if you do have a bit of knowledge, like we will beef that knowledge up. And also that you are, you know, that you come into this blind, that you don't have experience doing this kind of thing. But the idea is that once you've done this, you're going to have a chance to, you know, showcase something cool. And you never know. I mean, Microsoft has picked up ideas from these hackathons that they've run in the past, and then they actually do end up building something for some of the, you know, winning teams. So you never know. There are some cash prizes for this. So for South Africans, we've got small cash prizes, nothing big, for the top 3 South African teams. But globally, if you manage to win globally, the top prize is $100,000, which is a lot of money, guys. But anyway, you're not doing this for the money, right? That's not why you're doing it. Is it? Is it why you're doing it?
No,
Why are you doing this, Gabriella? Why did you want to do this?
because the first hackathon I did was a MindJoy hackathon, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to join this one because the previous one was fun.
Cool. Yeah, I hope this one will also be fun. And Lily, why are you wanting to join?
Okay, so firstly, I enjoy coding, but also I think this will probably look good on my university application. So
Yeah, and you grade 11. So you can code in this, but we're not expecting you to, and Microsoft doesn't expect you to. So, you know, if you want to create a prototype which you actually code, and it's like a beta version of something basic, like, I mean, these things give you bonus points, but it's not required. So just to be clear, like what is more interesting to Microsoft is, what is your idea, and is it a gap in the market? Is it a problem that needs to be fixed? Because that is something that, you know, even the big companies out there, they don't always know what the problems are, and they need people like us on the ground to highlight and figure out the problems for them, and kind of come up with ideas around how we can solve it. So if you look at the rubric or the grading system that we will share as part of the course, is a big part of the grading is actually related. If I look at these 3 bullet points, it's bullet point 1 and 2, which is about, I think it's slides 1 to 6, covers what is the problem, why is it a problem, what is your solution, how does your solution, what's the impact of your solution, and then a little like prototype of what your solution is. That's where the majority of the points sit. And then, of course, they want to make sure that you're doing this ethically and that you're taking into account cybersecurity, which we will, all of that we cover in the course as well. The deadline is the 10th of May. And how we roll this out is in the following sort of format. We'll do a more detailed briefing session on the 1st of April. It will go into, we'll sort of show you parts of the course, where you need to focus, what are the tasks, etc. Then we have built out the plan of, if you look at your deliverable, which is essentially 2 things. It's a slide deck of 10 slides, and there's a template and everything that we'll give you. And then there's a video that has of you guys presenting your slides and that's essentially Microsoft's way of making sure that this is real, that you didn't chat GPT it, and it's also it's your chance to grab their hearts and minds, and really wow them, essentially. So what our webinars focus on is webinar 1. Before the webinar, you'll start doing the course, and your task that you submit to us is essentially slide 1 to 6. So the biggest, the like chunk, the main chunk, you send that to us. We then run that webinar and we give you feedback on it, on how to make it better, what's missing, what's not clear. Like, essentially, we want to make your solution stand out as much as possible. Then the next webinar, you finish the slides. So it's those other pieces that we spoke about. You send the whole thing back to us again, and we give you a next round of feedback. And then the final webinar, and you can see the dates there. So it's a Saturday. I'm forgetting what the dates are actually. Saturday, 22nd, 29th, and the 6th of May. Then we will, that final webinar, you are then creating your video and polishing up your slides with any edits and things that you didn't get to, and sending that to us again. So you've got 3 rounds of feedback. I'm hoping that by the time you submit this thing is amazing and it's going to win some global prizes. I really hope so. And then of course we'll have a WhatsApp group where you guys can submit questions and stuff and get input from us along the way. So you don't have to always wait for that webinar, but I think the webinar would be most useful to be able to give some real context. So yeah, I mean, for your next steps, you guys are, given the ages you've told me you are between 13 and 18. That's what you need. You can join as an individual, but I strongly recommend, if you've got a friend that would be willing to join you, it would be great to have a team. But if you don't, that's also perfectly fine. And then our course, to access this whole program, we just ask that you sign up for the course, because that leads you through the whole process. We give you all the information that you need on AI, cybersecurity, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm going to stop and you guys can ask questions. Questions?
Do we create the slides at the hackathon or in our own time?
In your own time. You submit it, it's all online. So you will submit it, the deadline to submit the thing to Microsoft is the 10th of May. And we will, yeah, give you all of the information on how to do that.
Is it an actual presentation that we have to present, or is it just the PowerPoint?
So it's both, Lily. You're submitting the actual presentation, but you're creating a video of you delivering that presentation as well. Lily, did that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.